Okay. Thank you again. Thank you very much for joining us for this, inaugural, this first parent support group meeting. You've had a number of years where, unfortunately, due to COVID and other things, that parents haven't been able to be on site, haven't been able to meet with us so much. But now we're looking at a whole new world. We're really pleased to see parents coming back into the school and seeing what we're doing, what the children are doing, and being part of the community again. It was great, for example, this morning, see so many parents come. I think it was 2U had their first class assembly, and at the moment, well, in fact, in about 20 minutes, I think a year 3 class are having their class assembly, and it's great to have parents back involved in those sorts of things. So I wanted to just sort of welcome everyone to this group, and I really do appreciate you volunteering, and being part of this. It is a really important thing, and I think it's a really important part of the school to have a group who support the school, who help in a number of different ways, and are part of the journey to success. I think it's something which is vitally needed in every single school. We are meant to be partners, and need to work together for the betterment of the education system, and for your children and for those around. Every successful school that I've ever been involved with has a strong parent support group who are involved in many different areas of the school, and that is part of what we're looking at. So welcome everyone. There is a vision into this, and I've sent this out previously, and I will send it out again at the end of this session, in that the PSG, is to call it that, supports the development of the community by cooperating to enrich the lives of the students. That is one part of, and we'll look more in depth in a moment, that is one part of the vision for the PSG. And that, I suppose, is the ultimate part. We're here to enrich the lives of the students. That's what we are here as teachers to do. That's my role in the school. And it's certainly, as parents, it's, with your own children, you want to try and be part of their life and enrich their life beyond the norm. It's also there, the second part, guide parents towards better understanding of the school vision. And I think that is incredibly important. We're actually in the process of not rewriting, but reimagining the school vision. Some of you will have seen in the morning, we have a whole new set of school flags on there, which talk about positive education, balanced curriculum, global citizenship, and personalized success, and those sorts of things. Being able to understand that and help parents understand that within your groups, and support us to improve. Very much part of what I want to see, would like to see from the PSG group, and we'll talk about it more in depth, is being able to feed back to us and being able to be constructive with their feedback and give us some of their ideas and work with us over shaping the future pathway through the school. Obviously, one of the things that I have been looking at is possible structures. We have, at the moment, we're at this initial stage where we have class reps. We actually have 2 members. Let me just see just check that if they're here. Yeah, Miss Deepa, who's here. See if Miss Yanni is here as well. Can't see Miss Yanni here at the moment. Miss Deepa is here. From the School Advisory Council. The School Advisory Council, which is something that we're using quite regularly to support our development. I've been dealing a number of things with Miss Yanni and Miss Deepa, who have a lot of experience with the PSG in the past. They're helping me get to this initial stage of having class reps. We're looking possibly at having a structure where class reps can feed into year group reps, and whether we then have an executive committee, because between obviously a large group, if we have 58, I think it is, class reps, it's quite a big parent support group to deal with. And one of the things I'm looking at with Miss Yanni and Miss Deepa is how we structure that to make the PSG the most efficient to reach this vision. That's the whole point. We want to design the PSG from scratch so that we can actually reach this vision of enriching lives of students, guiding parents towards a better understanding of the school vision, and to support the school in endeavours to improve. But as it is, your feedback is vitally important in this. So what I've just got is a quick question here that I'm just going to launch into your screen, of just, really whether you think a structure such as this is appropriate, whether you think it's not, or whether you don't really have an opinion on it, just so that we have some information back from you to decide, whether we're, in our early discussions, whether we're going down the right way. So the question is really, for us as a group to meet the vision, do we think we need a structure like the one proposed? And I'm just going to launch that into your screen. Should come now, and you should be able to answer that. Okay. Okay, thank you. It's looking quite strongly towards yes, that the structure was that. So I think with Miss Yanni and Miss Deepa, we'll look more in depth at that as a structure. As I meant to say, and I think that's the direction I was going, Miss Deepa and Miss Yanni will also, to begin with, represent the parent support group on the School Advisory Council. So this, whilst the parent support group is mainly down towards enriching the lives, that's obviously its principal function, that feedback will also go through executive committees and can also go through to the School Advisory Council, which means it will have an active voice in the school and the school direction. I think that's really important part of us as a group. Okay, so just move on. The role, there are a number of bits of this role, and it links back to the vision. One thing is, and I'm keen for this to happen, is that is to act as a spokesperson for the parents, to feed back to the parent relations executive, which is Miss Vicky Keeley. Miss Vicky, are you there? She's just busy at the moment. Oh no, she's just arrived in. I may introduce her later on. Miss Vicky is a parent relation executive and deals with our marketing. The group is there to funnel that feedback to either Miss Vicky as a parent relation executive and or to myself, and I will disseminate it across the school leadership as and where it needs to go. I'm quite happy for you to have, initially a sort of direct line through and know that your feedback is being well received. One of the things I would ask within that is that as a parent, a PSG member, the role is really to act as a spokesperson. It's not an an avenue for individual issues or really sort of things raised about that individual person's child, or but it is to raise things that come up about the class or things like that. And I would ask, just within this, if we can try and make sure that the feedback is constructive. What I want to do is be constructive in this group, and it not be, sorry, I'm trying to think of a better way of phrasing it. It's not a moan fest system where people can continue moan. What I'd like to do, and I do this with staff as well, is that feedback, it can be positive, it can be negative. If it's negative, it's about the constructive way that we can change that. And I think that is an important part of your role as a parent support group member and a class rep. The parents within your group understand that you can be a spokesperson for the group, you can act on their behalf, and that that feedback will be listened to and will be answered. A support resource, it is the parent support group. The support resource is really important. We have, it's sometimes the teacher may wish to request from the class group for things, maybe support with things. It might be a school trip, for example. It may be, looking at the structure of something, looking at a collection. I've been in schools where, in fact, the class rep has organised all birthday parties for that class group to ensure that every child in that class gets a birthday mention and a birthday celebration, and how big or small, but it's always equivalent to everyone else, so nobody feels that their birthday is celebrated more or less than anyone else. There's some equality of that. And things like that is where you support it, but also there are clearly areas where we send out some important messages and they are not understood or not read by everyone. And to support the teacher by being able to say, okay, there's important school messages out there. So, for example, we actually sent out the beginning of the year and beginning of this year where we confirmed it. And there has been a slight change, but there was a half day coming up in about 2 weeks' time. The half day is actually used for our journey in preparing for CIS accreditation, as we started really last year. We're using that time to prepare the school and look at our school and move it forward in terms of getting the best level of CIS accreditation that we've got. We have 3 of these a year. We've timetabled the first one to be on the 10th of November. That's something that's going out in the newsletters, but I do understand that sometimes things get missed by families, and it would be really great if members of the parent support group can just make sure that this is thoroughly understood, that they don't miss out in really important messages. And that's again part of the role as a support resource, ensuring say things like information about trips or bits and pieces like that. I know there's a number of WhatsApp groups, and just having somebody in those WhatsApp groups being able to remind, remember we're going on a trip tomorrow, or remember tomorrow is the half day, is really, really important for us and an important part of the role. The other part is to aid and assist with major events such as National Day and International Day. I know we've got, particularly in primary, a number of parents who will be joining us for the start of the 30 by 30, and we're all really looking forward to that. We also have Sports Day coming up in primary, and it's great to see parents taking a part in the Sports Day activities and being there and cheering on their children. But it's, we do have the big events of National Day and International Day. National Day, I've already sent out, so that you're aware, a note to all our Emirati families to be involved in National Day and setting up some of the events. One of the big things we'd really like to do this year is get so many of you involved, because we have so many people from so many different cultures to be involved in International Day, and bring it back with a real bang this year, putting it together as a major event. Now, off the top of my head, I just have to think, I think it's on the, it's on the 10th of February this year, off the top of my head. And it'd be great to have parents being involved with that. We will have lots of other different events during the year as well, which people may be involved in. But that's quite a big part of the role, because that's where the enrichment of a student's life at school comes from, is really those who having parents, you joining us with their experiences. And so, you know, another example of that would be yesterday we had a really fantastic careers fair, and it was great to see a number of parents come in and share their experiences with our senior students over their careers and career pathways. So there's a number of sort of areas that the PSG can be involved with, and even pass on to people within their groups to see whether there's the skill set there to help and support the school. Here are some, you can see this, just hold on a sec, just in case. Yeah. Here are some of the sort of things that people can get involved in or start to think about. We've got in there careers events, International Day, National Day, cultural awareness. Those things are really important as and when they come up. The theatre productions, you know, we're having primary doing Matilda. I think, I can't remember the high school one. The name eludes me at the moment. But, you know, if you've got skills which support that, and you wish and you have the time to be able to get involved, it's really good, and we really appreciate it. Some of the big things are reading recovery, both in Arabic and in English. We know that there's a number of people who used to take part in this, who used to come into school either before the end of the school day or at the beginning of the school day, and have children, sit with children and help them with their reading. You know, this is something which we'd really like to bring back into the school, where those that have the time and ability to do that can come in and support students and support them in their educational journey. I'll be filling out this list with a few others, I'm sure, over the next few weeks, and then I'll send to the group so the group has an awareness of some of the things that have come up. And obviously your input is vital in this, in ways that you think that you can also support the school. Okay. That's great. Sorry, gone the wrong way. Part of, when I said at the beginning, part of the PSG and what I would like from that is feedback. I'm hoping in the last year and a bit that I've been here, parents feel that they can feedback to me. I do tend to email back within 24 hours, sometimes even within 5 minutes if you know, if it comes at the right time. And I think the PSG do have an important role, as I said, in reporting back and answering feedback. And I'm more than happy for anyone in the group and any parent, in fact, to email me directly, and I will, you know, respond as fast as I possibly can. But there's also Vicky Keeley, who's our parent relations executive, who's here, and I'll introduce her in a moment properly. You know, a couple of people that you could actually respond back to and give that feedback. So it is a vital part of the parent support group, and something that I really want to develop, and I really want to feel that you're being part of this group, you do have your feedback is sought after and it is required. One of the things that I was thinking, about with this group is being able to use this group as a little bit of a sounding board with changes. If we were making a change, we might write to the parent support group to survey their thoughts on that, and to see we can use as that sounding board. As I said, this feedback does make us better. It makes us stronger, makes us work together. Just before I go to Miss Vicky, one of the things I did have some feedback on when arranging this meeting was to do with whether being online or face to face. And so, like the first poll, I've just done a very quick poll as to whether people would prefer using this format for the next meeting, or whether you prefer a face-to-face meeting, and a timing for this meeting, when you would find it better, whether morning, afternoon, or even after sort of 4 o'clock, sort of early evening time. So I'm just going to launch that. If you could give me some feedback on that, it'd be really appreciated for planning the next meeting, which I hope would be, this is very much sort of being an information. I'm hoping that we can do much more discussion as the parent support group increases. Right, so I'm just looking at the poll results. It's quite interesting because it's given me exactly the answer I was not looking for, because it's about a third for Zoom and 2/3 for face-to-face, which is sort of, it was where I thought it might be, but I was desperately hoping it wasn't. Okay, what I will do then, based on that feedback, and it looks like the morning is much more preferable, I'm going to trial with you a hybrid meeting so that you have a choice of either being face-to-face or online. And myself and Miss Vicky will sit down together, try and work out a way of doing this so that you can be in either format. Because I do want you to come into school and have that ability to come into school and meet as a group, because I think there's a lot of benefit in meeting other members of the parent support group. But I do understand that some of you got incredibly, just can't get away from other things in their life to be here face to face, because I understand the travel time here and the time to get back to your next event or whatever else that you need to be doing that day. I understand that takes a chunk of time out. So I will talk to Miss Vicky and we'll try and arrange a hybrid session in the next one, which we'll do early next term, or early next term. But we may also look at something, well, early next term is probably the best time when we're looking at going towards International Day. I wasn't going to actually go through any particular feedback today, but it's quite interesting. Ramesh has sent something through, which I will comment on, which is a suggestion that maybe the school and kids should take part in some charitable community service activities. I'm just going to mention that because it's a feedback, and I want this to be a feedback. It wasn't planned for the meeting, but it comes at an apt time. In terms of charitable events, I just want everyone to be aware that obviously with charitable events, we actually have to get authorization. We use Al Jalila Foundation as a group that we can go to who gain authorization for charitable events. Our recent one, which was the Pink Day, I think we raised between 6,000 and 8,000 on Pink Day, which was really good. Really pleased with that. Thank you for those that bought T-shirts. That was really good. So it is a bit of a challenge. One of the things I was looking at, because we had I think it was a parent that came in yesterday who was dealing with students overseas who have cleft palates. And it was such an interesting idea, such an interesting charity that she ran, that I took some of the information. And I do think as a school and as a global school, international school, we should be looking at our global impact in charity events, but also our local charitable events as well. So I am going to start to speak to Al Jalila Foundation to look at local and global charitable events that we can take part in, that we can have as part of our school annually, that we have a focus on a particular global charity and a particular local charity that we can run events for through the year that we raise money for. Community services is obviously a massive part of being an IB school, and it's something which is coming back online. We're doing a lot more stuff with eco stuff, a lot more stuff with eco events, and we'll be doing a lot more things. I think Mr. Little, who's in primaries, and we're looking at some eco adventures that we can be doing, and some little eco trips that we can be doing. So we are doing a lot more community services and activities, and a lot more. We're looking at how we can do the charitable events much better as we move forward. So thank you. I know there's some other people with feedback, and I'd quite like you, if you could, to just email that in to me, because I don't want to have this meeting run too far along. And I will answer that feedback, and I will answer it to the group, because I think that's fair that you've raised it in this, that I should answer it back to the entire group so everyone can see that feedback. So it's Deepa, Miss Happy Vanny on the list there. Yeah, if you can send that through to me, or anyone else has some feedback, please send it through, and myself and Miss Vicky will put our heads together and make sure that we respond to that. Okay, so before I finish, I'm just going to see Miss Vicky is here, and ask her to unmute, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Vicky Kiley. I am the Parent Relations Executive at Emirates International School, and I am so excited to work with you all for the coming year. Please do reach out to me via email if you see anything on the horizon that you think is raising concern, or you see something that is a good initiative that you would like us to run in the school. My office is in the high school building, and never feel like you need an appointment. Just pop on into me. I'm more than happy to see you at any time. And if I'm not at my desk, I will get someone to give me a call, and I will pop back to you. So I do really look forward to starting this community initiative and working together as a team to improve the community spirit at EISJ as well.
Thank you, Ms. Vicky. I just actually, someone else sent me a message, and I meant to respond about that as well. I don't know how we're going to do this, and I will speak to Vicky, and if you've got any feedback, particularly on this area, is how to promote those people on the parent support group amongst their class, amongst their year group. Obviously, I have now, because you've messaged me and I've got them on the school, I've got personal contact details. I'm not sharing personal contact details. It's not for me to do that. And I wouldn't do that for anybody that's on the group. One of the things I might do a little survey, in fact, and send it out to you and talk to Miss Vicky about how we do that exactly, about how do we share that you've taken up this role amongst that, because obviously you want people to be able to contact you, but I want people, you to be in charge of that contact and you to determine how it is. Also, I don't want you suddenly to be flooded with lots of messages from people and it becoming this overwhelming task. So I think one of the things we want to do between now and the next meeting, next term, is to look at how we get people to know that you're there, to know that you are part of that feedback route, from the PSG, whilst being very aware of your own personal responsibilities and not being able to divulge personal information massively. Okay, so I will put a survey out about that. I think I'll talk to Miss Vicky and see the best way that we can do that. Look, thank you. You know, this is the first step, is to you know, actually meet. I know that the PSG, and there's parents who are willing to be part of this PSG group, which is really heartening. It makes, you know, it makes us understand that we're really going in the right direction. I think that, you know, this is a sort of show of support, and a show also from us that we do want you involved in the school and in the school's journey. So I really do respect that you've taken the time not only to agree to be in this committee, but to be here today. I think that's really important, and I'm humbled by it. So over the next period of time, we will, as I said, work out ways to make sure that you're able to, or people know who you are, and move this group forward. I hope to see some, you know, as many of you from primary at the 30 by 30 tomorrow, that start, and other events, and come up and say hello. As I said, your feedback is valued, so do feel like you can email either Miss Vicky or myself, and that we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll, you know, I'll put together something in a calendar very soon so that you've got enough time to plan the next one. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you.